Okay, so let's take a look at how you can use Hasura and CockroachDB database to connect and then create a database inside your CockroachDB and use Hasura to further go for creating an API out of that database, right? So first thing, make sure to go to Cockroach Labs, then click on Start Instantly, and here you get one free account serverless that you can register for, right? So to register you need either Google account, Microsoft, or GitHub. You can also use the work email, and then you get one free cluster to access in CockroachDB cloud account. Now we are going to repeat the same for Hasura. If you go to hasura.io and here you decide to log in or register, you can simply connect to your Google account or GitHub. You can also use email. Enter your details, create your account, get it verified, and then you have one cluster created for you in Hasura Cloud. So you have like two clusters, one for CockroachDB, second for Hasura Cloud, right? Moving on from that, we can access Hasura Cloud like this. Everything is done for us. We can launch the console. Now let's move to CockroachDB to check how things go. So here we also have one cluster created for us along with one SQL user and one database. So we will click on connect, and here you can see I have one SQL user, one database, and I will have to download the cert, and you can do this within your Windows terminal. Then you have connection string. Just copy this string, then go to your Hasura's data tab, right? Then connect to database. Here you can add the string that we just copied from CockroachDB. Enter the display name, driver is CockroachDB, enter your database URL, and then click connect. Make sure to avoid the last part that says SSL verify full, right? So once you do that, you are ready to connect. So previously I shown you how to connect your CockroachDB within Hasura, right? So if we click on it, it will try and connect it, right? And here you see currently we don't have any schema. If you click on public, there are no tables. So our goal today is basically creating the table, right? Put some sample data for you to view, right? And then we are going to access this in the form of API, right? So to do that, what we can do is we can click on create table. Let's give it a name as company. You can add the comment for table, right? So let's start with the columns. First I will add ID, which is going to be integer. You can make it auto increment, right? So it will become primary key as well. Then you can use name for that company person. It should be in text. Then you can add department, which can be in text. Then comes salary, which could be integer, right? So these are some of the columns. We'll point out our primary key being ID, right? Then we have foreign keys, unique keys, check constraint. So I don't want to mess with it right now, right? So what I will do, I will simply add table. So let's say if it allows me to do just that. So there are seem to be errors across all sources. They don't allow fields to be named with the same table. So let's change this to HR data as my table name. Okay, so I will create again. So creating the table, this time the name of table is different. I can now see the table created. So if I choose to browse rows, here you can see I don't have anything within these columns, no rows there, right? So what I can do is I can insert row. When I click on that, you will notice that it will expect you to have big integer. Then you can add your name, department, let's say your salary. We'll save this as first part. We'll change that with another user, right? Then we add that entry, right? So one more row affected. Now we go for another name, right? And we add that person as well, right? Now the next we go for fourth entry, name something different this time. Then we have department change. Now salary we want to increase, manager, insert again. So we have like 4 rows within these columns. We can click on browse rows, right? So here you can see that I have like 4 entries here for you to check within HR data table, right? Make sure that none of your data sources have same table name, otherwise often that conflict error will happen that I pointed out previously, right? Now that you have your data, next thing is creating your GraphQL API. So to test that, you can click on try GraphQL, right? And let's make a query. Click on query. Notice that you will have this post query there, and where we can see within Explorer it says get HR data. So this is pointing out to our table name HR data, which has this field ID, name, department, salary. You can choose to add and remove those fields, right? If you click on GraphQL's play button, it will create a JSON data out of that, and it will show you within the output, right? So now if you have any API specific work to be done, you can do so, right? You can populate your database and add more columns or fields so that you can do any data specific operations, like say comparing the salary, comparing with the year, or say recession, etc. You can have that data within your API. So what I have done so far is just a demo, right? So you can try this on your run as well. Okay, so one more thing to explain here is that when you make queries or do any form of data operation with CockroachDB on cloud, you will consume some amount of queries, and you can view that within your dashboard. Here you can see total 17k request units were used. You have like 10 million of that quota each month. Then if you want to check the activity, you can go to SQL activity, right? So you can view what you have done, right? So like how many statements you have executed. So here you see all of them, right? And within these 2 pages you can view everything, how many read write requests, right? All of that listed here, right? So you can even set entire day worth of, right? Even have 6 hour moment. So here all of that can be visible within 1 or 2 pages. As you can see the table we created, right? And all of that. So these some of the statements that we executed are visible here. Now how much they have consumed, etc., that metric we can also access. Meanwhile we can take a look at transactions, right? Set local, set client, encoding, etc. Apart from that, there are also sessions. So how many sessions we connected our account for. So here you can see few seconds, 1 minute, 2 minute, then connection was closed, then reopened, etc. All of that is also listed here. Then you have metrics. So we will take a look at what we have done, right? So here you can see the number of SQL statements that we have run here. So all of that is listed. You can see the latency, open sessions, connection latency, connection attempts, all of that listed here, right? Then you also have tab for database. I'm not sure why I didn't show you the tables. Currently we have one within Hasura project that you can check in data tab, then your CockroachDB, and if you do the public you will have HR data table, but for some reason, okay, so there it is, we have that table now listed. So that transaction was not updated, I suppose, that's why it was showing you that. So it will fetch after some time, so be patient. So you have like company and HR data. So notice that the company is not being accessed through your Hasura because the same name was used by other data sources as well, and it was trying to avoid the conflict. But however, that table was created within your CockroachDB, right? So we managed to complete the part where we can create the table, add some data, then create GraphQL API. So we managed to do it with CockroachDB cloud account and Hasura cloud account.